जो पार्टीशन 1947 में शुरू हुआ था वो आज तक चल रहा है और कभी खत्म ही नहीं होगा।
Ever face this situation in Bengal? Ever think?
Theaters are now refusing to show it because they fear that there will be a political turmoil.
हिंदू मुस्लिम एक नहीं है। आप वेदों को मानते हैं, हम कुरान को मानते हैं, आप लाखों भगवान को मानते हैं, हम सिर्फ अल्लाह को मानते हैं।
If you shun the history, shut the history, then it will keep repeating.
The fact that Bengal was also divided and made into East Pakistan is something that is not in people's everyday memory.
भारत हिंदुओं का राष्ट्र है और इस युद्ध में हिंदू हार रहे हैं।
Is it a lonely road who are not part of Bollywood?
It's just the two of us, and I think the two of us are enough for each other.
A communal riot that happened on August the 16th, 1946, a year before India's independence, right when the British were about to leave. And yet it doesn't figure really in India's collective popular memory. It doesn't figure in the history textbooks. I personally don't remember having been educated about it right through my school system. And yet a film that is finally throwing the spotlight on the great Calcutta killings of 1946 is kicking up the dust, perhaps like no film has in recent memory. It is no surprise that the makers of this new film that's coming up in the next couple of days, that continues to be the subject of FIRs and censorship and a great deal of controversy, are none other than a filmmaking couple that is no stranger to controversy and who've been known to choose topics that are making people think, making people fight, making people polarized and feel like they are divided, but also to revisit history, which is an important question. Vivek Agnihotri and Pallavi Joshi, welcome and thank you for being here on NDTV just days before the Bengal Files comes out. And I know the both of you are here at a time when your film, even before it's released, has caused so much of a firestorm. I hear not only are theaters a little sensitive about showing it, but that there are FIRs, that there are issues with the media, some media, not NDTV obviously, actually talking about your film, listing your film, where it's going to be played, etc. Vivek, I'll start with you. Just days before the film comes out, what kind of roadblocks are you facing?
See, people, if to understand, you have to look at chronological order. About a year and a half or maybe 2 years ago, I don't remember exact date, the Chief Minister of West Bengal publicly in her press conference said that some people have been funded and sent to make a film called the Bengal Files, which humiliates Bengalis. I will never let it, I won't allow it. After that, a lot of people started threatening us. We were not allowed to shoot in Bengal.
This is before you announced the film also?
No, after we announced the film. On record, there is a video, I can send it to you. And then after that, when we announced the release date of the film, I was in America. We had gone to US to do special screenings there in 12 cities. Then I started getting FIRs. And not just one, multiple FIRs in different thana, different city. That's a strategy to demoralize us, to harass us, to entangle us in legal issues. And even yesterday I received a FIR. You know, so every second day some FIR is coming. Then after that, when we came from US, straight away we went to Kolkata to release the trailer on 16th August. It's appropriate we release on 16th August, yeah. As soon as we landed at the airport, we got to know that the trailers are launched in theaters, in multiplexes. They have refused to take it under political pressure, and somebody used the term that there will be political turmoil if we show it. So finally we said, okay, the safe space, since the entire unit had landed in Kolkata, so we said, let's do it in a 5-star hotel. And as we were doing it, then there was an intervention, and the police came and they stopped it, cut the wires, and they also said the same thing, that we have political pressure and we have to stop it. Still we said, okay, but now in last 24 hours, the development is, because we opened the advance booking and theaters have to be finalized, I've got to know through my distributors The distributor said if film releases in Bengal, it will create history. But I just learned that theaters are now refusing to show it because they fear that there will be a political turmoil if they do it. And the worst thing is, I mean, unimaginable thing, unprecedented thing which has happened is in the history of cinema anywhere in the world, those ads which show the show timings, small ads which come in newspapers, some of the major newspapers are refusing to take even those ads. So this is where we are.
Pallavi, the hostility between the West Bengal government and you has made the headlines. Have either of you tried to reach out to Mamata Banerjee or the West Bengal government and said, we are filmmakers, we are making a film, you watch the film, you decide for yourself?
We want to. We want to, and I so want to sit down across the table and have a dialogue with her.
Mamata Banerjee?
Yes, because I understand, you know, there could be some, I mean, she has a different political ideology and everything, but at the end of the day, she's an Indian. She's an Indian woman. She's a Bengali Indian woman. I'm sure her forefathers have gone through the same thing that we are showing in the film. Maybe they were, you know, in some way, maybe not victims, but in some way they have witnessed the Direct Action Day or the Noakhali genocide. The things that we've shown in the films are something that I'm sure are very close to her heart. So if she can just give us an audience, we are ready to show her the film. Let her see the film and then decide. But on the basis of a trailer or on the basis of some past film for which she has some problem, she cannot ban a piece of work. She cannot curb freedom of expression like
because the timing also will come up, Vivek. People will say that, you know, the Bengal elections are coming, that's why you've timed it with that. You know, that would explain the political sensitivity over it. You know, because you're portraying and you know, something that opens old wounds, creates divisions right before the elections.
Okay. So
inconvenient for the politicians.
Shiv, there are two answers to this. There are two things you have addressed. Number one, please give some respect to my political acumen. I make political films. I'm not a politician. If I have to effect the elections, I'll release it in January for April elections. Why will I release it before Bihar elections? Number one. And as far as opening old wounds, there is something called in social science and psychiatry is called conspiracy by silence. You know, if somebody is going through depression or some trauma or there is some very inhuman thing has happened, then by maintaining silence and saying, no, nothing has happened, nothing has happened. In lots of Indian families, if you see people suffering from anxiety or depression, okay, they reach the ultimate stage because parents say, nahi, tumhe kuch nahi hua, tumhe kuch nahi hua, tumhe kuch nahi hua, something like that. Same thing has happened with India also. There is a generational trauma. No other country has witnessed the kind of communal violence we have witnessed. Yes, Holocaust, but Holocaust, very short period of time. We have witnessed for 1200 years, we were persecuted, enslaved. It's time that we give it a voice. Because if you go to a psychiatrist, he'll tell you acknowledging the trauma is the first step towards healing. Indian society will heal only when we acknowledge, yes, there is an issue, there is a major communal issue in this country. Otherwise, if you shun the history, shut the history, then it will keep repeating. And 70 years later, we are still suffering from exactly the same communal politics, sinister politics for which partition happened.
But those who, you know, those who talk about this conspiracy of silence will say that, but this is not the way to heal it. They will say that you're distorting aspects of it. Is that true? How do you respond to that? Is your answer to those people say, watch the film first and then decide, you know, if that is the case? Because, no, Vivek, the reason I'm asking that question also is because the 1946 riots themselves are contentious. There are many different versions over what happened, the number of people who actually died.
No, that's not true.
Aren't there historical divergences as far as that is concerned?
No, that's not true, Shiv. That's the problem. See, what communist people have done so far is that they confuse people by writing, they confuse over numbers.
So there is no doubt about what happened. It's just been suppressed.
Here. Over 40,000 casualties in Calcutta riots. Sir Henry Twainham statement. He was the governor of West Bengal. That's his statement. There are reports after reports after, and forget numbers. Whether it's 40,000 or 10,000 people are being killed.
In their thousands.
Second thing is people who are killed. Okay, you have to understand this because this must be exposed. There were 24 police stations in Calcutta. Suhrawardi, who is known as Butcher of Bengal, the headlines were in all newspapers. He transferred all Hindu inspectors and he installed Muslim inspectors in 22 out of 24 police stations. In 2, they were Anglo-Indians. For 2 days, he declared holiday. Police started distributing weapons and arms and guns and whatever ammunition to Muslim Guard, which is the youth wing. Mujibur Rahman announced he hoisted a flag of Pakistan at Calcutta University, and from there it began. 100,000 people came at Shaheed Minar for Suhrawardi's speech, and he said for 2 days, go annihilate all Hindus, nothing is going to happen. And they chose 16th August. There's a reason. In his speech, Jinnah also announced, Suhrawardi, that 16th August is the 18th day of Ramzan. On this day, Battle of Badr was fought by 313 Muslims. He said, Allah has allowed us to do this jihad against Hindus. The reason was that Hindus were more in population marginally than Muslims in Calcutta. Muslim League wanted Calcutta in Pakistan. The only way they could have got it if the Muslim population changed, the demography changed. So they announced that kill as many Hindus so that Muslim demography changes. It was a marginal difference. And 40,000 people were killed in 2 days. Streets were full of their skeletons, and the vultures were eating their flesh. These are such painful stories. The entire world calls it genocide, except for some people. They were not riots, first of all, because it was a call to kill them like Nazis called to kill Jews. It's exactly parallel to that.
Pallavi, how did the both of you choose this topic? The people, audiences will want to know, when they watch this film. I think one of the common themes, when you made the Kashmir Files, people had a general sense of what happened with the Kashmiri Pandits, even though they didn't know the specifics, right? Some people had a problem with some of the things that you brought out in your film. The Bengal Files is a little different, because even well-read persons will say, hey, I didn't even really know about this. I am freely admitting that I had an extremely obscure kind of sense of what happened in 1946. Certainly nothing like this. How did you choose this particular story?
Same here. Even I had a very faint idea about what had happened. And being a keen reader, I had read about a lot of things, didn't really know how the dots joined until the research started coming up. So back in the day, in 2020, when we were about to go and start shooting for Kashmir Files, the first wave of COVID hit us, and after that, when everyone was sitting home for 7-8 months doing nothing, that was the time we started with the research. We knew for certain that we wanted to make a movie on partition, and as the research started coming in, we also knew that Direct Action Day and Noakhali are going to be a part of it, because that is one side of our partition which nobody has seen. A lot of filmmakers have made films on Punjab partition, books have been written on it, but the fact that Bengal was also divided and made into East Pakistan is something that is not in people's everyday memory. And therefore, we wanted to visit that era also, to make people aware that our country was also divided on this side, and also because of the sheer tragic tales that were coming out of our research. And slowly and steadily, as we gathered more information, we realized that this is a story which has to be told, because when we decided to make films on our democracy, and our themes were going to be right to truth, right to justice, and right to life, we realized that Bengal is that one place where there were boards like dogs and Indians not allowed. So there was an absolute absence of dignity of life. People were killed in huge numbers, and yet those numbers also never came out. So whoever died was just a statistic. So much apathy for human life was found there during the partition. And then also, after that, during the 78 years of our independence, as things panned out throughout the different governments that Bengal has seen, and the illegal immigration that has been happening, we decided that there has to be some commentary on our state, because Bengal is my state. Bengal is a part of my country. Maybe we were late in making the Kashmir Files, because we were in our 20s when the problem in Kashmir happened. So yes, we tried to make a film on Kashmir after the damage was done, but while the damage was not done, while we still can do something about it, why not make a film and make people aware that there is this issue that is burning there? And it is exactly like how it was during the partition, and we should take, stand up, sit up, take cognizance of what is happening.
I just want to say, as a director of the film, why I made this film, because you will never ever find a Jew child who doesn't know about Holocaust. You'll never find a black child in the world who doesn't know about the slavery. How is it that we don't know about one of the recorded, documented, one of the most tragic genocide of Hindus in Bengal? We don't know about it.
But Vivek and Pallavi, both of you want to sit across the table from Mamata Banerjee at a time when the demographic shift is a politically nuclear issue in this country. So you must have expected that this was going to happen when you chose this topic.
No. I knew there will be opposition. I knew people will call it propaganda. They will say BJP. They will say right wing. All that I expect. I never expected that anybody can ban the trailer of a film. Not in my wildest dreams I had thought. Honestly, I'm telling you.
Also not the way the whole thing
Not the way whole thing.
Okay. No, so you've reached out to Mamata Banerjee. I'm wondering whether she will give you time to actually sit across the table. Let's see. I don't know. Because I have my doubts about it. Because something like this goes to the very heart of the politics of what's playing out in Bengal. And you know what I'm talking about. Let's come to the specific troubles that you've faced. You've said you've lost count of the number of FIRs that you have.
I've got all of them for you.
Is there a number?
I don't know the number, but every day I'm getting, see, all these are FIRs.
Okay.
FIRs. These are full of FIRs.
How big is your legal team, Vivek and Pallavi? Do you have like a big legal team?
No. We are very small.
Big legal team, but yeah, a lawyer is very busy at the moment.
Yeah, so you obviously have a full-time lawyer and legal team. But some of these FIRs have been bigger than others. Like, for example, the Gopal Mukherjee issue. His grandson has apparently filed a police complaint against the both of you for the portrayal
of his... just sent a legal notice.
His legal notice. I read in one of the media reports that he's filed a police complaint. Anyway, saying that his grandfather has been misportrayed in your film, even though the film is not out yet. It's only the trailer so far. How have you? Are you speaking to him? Are you responding to him? Because the reason I ask is because these are historical figures. These are real life figures in Bengal. Yeah. So as filmmakers, I'm sure your priority is also to be sensitive to what the descendants of some of these people have.
Yeah. So let me tell you, I have deep respect for Gopal Mukherjee. He was a hero. I have shown him as a hero. Hindus in Bengal treat him as a hero, and they say why his name is not there as one of the great freedom fighters of our country. So I have portrayed him only as a hero. As far as the grandson is concerned, he has been talking to me on the phone for a long time. In fact, I offered to say thank you to him and his family. But I have been told that he is part of TMC, and after this I don't want to elaborate because there's a legal procedure going on. We have replied legally. But the thing is, I also want to say on record, just because somebody is somebody's grandson doesn't make him as great a person as his grandfather was. So, and when the film gets into little media and things like that, then lots of people jump the wagon and they want to participate in that. I don't think, once he sees the film, he'll... Actually, whatever role of Gopal Mukherjee is based only on two documents, because there is very little is being written on him. One is Gopal Mukherjee's own interview to BBC, quote, I've just translated it into Hindi, and his grandson, Shantanu's own interview to newspaper. Only on these documents, whatever they have said, I have shot it. He doesn't know. I don't want to say more than this, because otherwise I don't want another controversy standing.
Pallavi, you're in the film, as you have been in the last ones as well. As you've interacted with the other stars and the other cast and crew, what have their sentiments been like about making a film that is provocative, that is going to provoke emotions, that is going to be the subject matter of real world trouble? FIRs and stuff is no joke at the end of the day. What was the mood on set when this film was being made?
The mood on the set was like any other sets, We have worked with few actors in the past also.
Yeah.
And
many of them are in this film as well.
Yes, Darshan is here, there in the film. Mithunda is there in the film. Anupam ji is there in the film. They are almost like family to us. They are great actors. We respect them tremendously. They love us, and they will do every project with us, you know, if possible. As far as the other cast is concerned, a lot of them were Bengalis that we cast because we wanted the film to look authentic. And they were more than happy to be a part of this subject because all of them felt that a story like this has to come out. And it is very important to talk about the situation of Bengal, both in 1946 and the current times also. So the set atmosphere was as good and as creative as any other sets, you know. Not just our sets, but any other sets that I have worked on.
Yeah. You know, a far less controversial subject matter become controversies in this day and age, Vivek, as you know. It takes nothing to become a controversy in this age we live in. The both of you have chosen like something nuclear. It's an issue that is that has communal violence in it. It has a political aspect to it. It has a real world situation right now where we're talking about appeasement. There are oncoming elections. There's a lot of, in one sense, people say there is a lot of hyper-nationalism, polarization, etc. So what do you say to people who say, why are you getting into these subjects? Shouldn't you be choosing subjects that are healing? These don't really heal. How would you respond to those people? They'll say that as a filmmaker, you have a choice.
Yeah, but then I would rather spend my filmmaking career making movies on taboo subjects and telling uncomfortable truths rather than taking the audience into la-la land as if nothing is wrong with the country, there is nothing wrong. Just to tell you, Shiv, how deep is our research and understanding of the subject. We shot this film in October, November, December 2024, last year. So the film moves into past and present and creates a parallel how the same politics which partitioned India exists today or does not exist. That was the hypothesis. So we present time, earlier it was Kolkata, but just 2 days before the shoot, I said, no, let's shift it to Murshidabad. So a lot of my assistants said, people will think Murshidabad is in UP, sir, you are making a mistake. I said, no, let's do it in Murshidabad because demography change is real. And so we showed how these riots, communal riots are created, designed and created to consolidate vote banks. The way we shot, whatever we shot, whatever we have shown, even the headlines which we printed on newspapers just to show in the film, same thing, frame by frame, exactly happened in April 25, 6 months after what we shot. So we know something, 5 years of research, we have 18,000 pages of just the summary of our research. And left, right, center, west, east, everything we have included. This which I have got is basically made for CBFC. Every single dialogue, every frame has been scrutinized. I made this document for them. So, yes, but I don't want to compare myself to Galileo and Socrates or somebody else, but let me tell you, whenever somebody speaks the truth, there is controversy. Even Holocaust, let me tell you, Schindler's List. The Holocaust word came because somebody made a documentary called Holocaust. There were protests in Germany. People came out on the street, there was violence. When Schindler's List came, there were lots of protests against that film. So it's not that Schindler's List, there was no controversy attached to it. There was a lot of controversy against Spielberg and all. But somebody has to, there are hundreds of films on World War and Holocaust. Why shouldn't there be at least one film on a tragedy? If there was no direct action day and no Khali genocide of Hindus, there wouldn't have been any partition.
Finally, to both of you, at the end of the day, the choice of topics you choose, taboo topics, as you said, is your prerogative as a filmmaker. And I think what you have proven with Kashmir Files especially is that you will have your hecklers, but you will also have this enormous audience that will be awakened to what you've made for them and the windows that you've actually opened for them. But I'd like to end by asking the both of you, Pallavi, to you first, is it a lonely road? Because you are both big filmmakers who've made these big successful films, and yet you are not part of Bollywood. You are not sort of assigned a place in any film industry as such. So is it you have the adoration of your audiences who support and agree with the views you put out and the facts you put out, but is it in terms of a fraternity, in terms of an industry, a lonely job that the both of you have?
Yes, it is a lonely road, but it's a road that we've chosen to walk on. So we don't expect anyone to hold our hand and anyone to tweet about our film saying, oh, what a wonderful film they've made, and I hope that it, makes them happy and gets them a lot, lots of money, and it does Silver Jubilee and stuff like that. So we don't have anyone in the film industry who's going to tweet that for us, but we also knew what we had signed up for. So it's just the two of us, and I think the two of us are enough for each other.
What is your relationship like with Bollywood? I understand Bollywood is many things to many different people.
Yeah.
But what is that relationship like? Usually people will say that, success opens a lot of doors, breaks down a lot of barriers.
You're right.
You have a place in
You're
Bollywood.
Right.
Vivek?
You are right. Yes, after Kashmir Files, yes, lots of doors open, but it's your choice whether you want to enter those doors or not. And Shiv, thanks you asked me, and I have written it on my social media at least 1,000 times. I always write after 3-4 days because it makes me resolve better. I follow Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore's mantra, Ekla Chalo Re, and I walk alone, I live alone, and I enjoy being alone. That way you have no baggage and nobody is around you. I mean, Pallavi and I always, we don't go to parties, we have childhood friends. She has childhood friends, I have childhood friends. That's all, that's our world and our family. So we like to be alone because it frees you from making films which people want to hear, to tell stories which people want to hear, easy answers. Like politicians and religious leaders, they give easy answers so that people, we like telling uncomfortable truths, and Ekla Chalo Re is my mantra.
Okay, so a film that you're saying is not going to be full of easy answers, it's not going to be digestible to many. It's already created quite a bit of indigestion before its actual launch in the theatres. I hope there is no more trouble for you, both of you personally, because at the end of the day, our personal view is let the film come out, let people see it and decide for themselves. We have structures in this country, we have a censor board, we have a government, we have law and order machinery. Those things should be taking care of some of these things. There will always be political heat and there will be political compulsions, but that's what we are as a democracy. It's important to shine the spotlight on those dark recesses of history, perhaps, that have been ignored and are no longer part of our collective memory. All the very best, Vivek and Pallavi, and thank you for being with me here.
Thank
on
you.
NDTV.
Thank you, Shiv.
Thank you, Shiv.